Hello and welcome to the GMBN Tech Show. Coming up this week, we talk about the new Smuggler from Transition.
And we've got a brand new Hope Hub, the Pro 5.
Ooh, and we debate the pros and cons of a new belt-driven Gearbox downhill bike on the World Cup scene.
Don't you go anywhere.
So Gearbox Bikes have a factory racing team, Gearbox Factory Racing, and they're hitting the UCI World Cup downhill scene on their brand new prototype. Now, if you don't know about Gearbox Bikes, check this out. This is their Seago, which is a one-piece aluminium frame with no welds. It's very, very geeky looking, very nice mid-high pivot, bit of a horse link going on there. And Gearbox. And interestingly, they're taking this to the World Cup circuit, but they've got a new sponsor. It's Gates Carbon Belt Drives. So yeah, they're going to be running their Gearbox with belt drives. Now, this isn't a completely new thing. We have seen belt drives on the World Cup circuit, haven't we?
Yes.
Benoit Coulon, who now, a French rider who now rides for Commensal, rode a Nicolai belt-driven Gearbox bike. I think he came 15th in Fort Will.
Yeah, Fort Will, yeah.
2015. But yeah, this is kind of semi-new. And the BMX scene UCI have only allowed it in the BMX scene since 2018. And now we're seeing it on the World Cup circuit. But anyway, is this development meaning that we're going to start seeing belt-driven bikes more coming through into mainstream, into our lives?
I don't know, Anna, because I feel like there are some downsides, but the obvious upsides.
Yeah, let's go with some positivity.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
It's stronger.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Less chain snaps.
Yeah. It won't flex as well, so you're not losing efficiency.
Yeah, the durability of it. They're quieter.
Very quiet.
They're really, really quiet. If you ever see a Gearbox bike go past, it's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You can change gear on the fly.
Yeah, without pedaling. Yeah.
There are upsides.
Let's talk about the quietness, because this is I feel like this is a good and bad thing, because silent bikes, great, belt drives, they're generally, you don't get that slap, mainly because they almost act like a single speed. That is what they are. They have to work with a gearbox, and maybe that's the downside, because I'm all for belt drives, but am I all for gearboxes? What are you saying about gearboxes?
Oh, what I do like about them is you haven't got the derailleur.
Yes.
I mean, I've talked about it on the Dirt Shed show before. I don't like the derailleur, and I can't believe we're still stuck with it. But the gearbox, so it does that. It's quieter, of course, but it is heavier. It's quite a lot heavier.
Yeah.
But then that weight is, centrally positioned, low centre of gravity. Some people would argue that makes the suspension work even better.
Yeah. Unsprung mass.
So, yeah, there are those upsides, but do you want to know one of the silliest downsides?
Go on.
On this setup? Although I like this bike. I mean, look at that bike, right?
It is nice. Yeah.
It's got grip shift. It's got grip shift on.
Weren't you sponsored by Grip Shift?
I was Grip Shift for a long time, but I'm a trials rider. I didn't have to really use it. And even when I had to use it, I thought it felt horrible.
Yeah.
It just feels like such a step backwards to get a grip shift. So I'm almost out at that point. Yeah. But have you got any downsides?
When I was racing, I was told, you've got small hands, you'll want grip shifts. You don't want all those levers, right? So I got it, and you have to do this big old, weird action to grab a handful of... So I'm not a big fan of grip shift either. I've had a go on pinion back when DVA were first starting out. I used the gearbox, and that was the previous to now, but it did have a bit of a lag. And if you want to change gears while you're pedaling, forget about it. You have to actually pause to think about it. You have to be freewheeling. So you
can't actually pedal and change. See, no. I don't feel like that's actually a downside, isn't it? I mean, it works when you want to change gear when you don't want to be pedaling.
Yeah.
But there are times when you definitely want to be pedaling.
Yeah, I know. Arguably, you don't want to be changing gear when you're pedaling because it puts stress on the system. But let's be honest, we all do.
I love it.
I don't want to have to stop pedaling and just change gear.
A lot of people don't like the sound of a bike being like put through its paces up the gears, but I love going can, just send it through them. It's not my chainring. I don't mind.
Yeah,
Let's get through it.
Who cares? We're spun. Anyway, should we ask the viewers who actually have to pay for drivetrains? What do you think? Do you like the idea of a belt drive? Maybe you do, but you don't like the idea of a gearbox. What do we think about seeing gearboxes back in the UCI World Cup? Let us know down in the comments below. So Transition have updated their well-loved Smuggler. That's their 130/140 trail bike. It remains a 29er, but check this out on screen because they've done a little bit of reshaping to that head tube, and that's cleared up some of the cable ports and the routing to make it a little tidier, but it's also allowed them to use headset cups that drop in rather than being pressed in, so that's easier for us to service with. It's 29er only, but you can upgrade the rear shock from 130 to 140 by removing a spacer in there if you fancy it. Lifetime warranty on the frame. Stock should be coming in spring. And the frame set carbon with the shock starts at $3,699. Or $4,999 Canadian dollars. And they are doing an NX alloy build as well, starting from $3,999 US dollars.
Good money. Good money. I love it. I can't wait to talk about this. The new hub from Hope.
That's what they're all waiting for.
Pro
anyway.
5. Okay, now I'm a big fan of Hope. I always have loved this brand and I've used them loads. I'm not currently running a Hope. Got an Industry 9 on the back of my handbike.
Yeah.
So I was quite interested to see this development. Now, the idea of this hub is to reduce drag compared to the Pro 4 previous hub. But I wanted to know, would it have what I technically call business to it? Okay, would it have any of that? And it has. They've really upped the pulls. Okay, so it's going to have a lot more engagements. So it's got 44 on the Pro 4. It's 108 now.
Yeah, that's getting into I-9 territory.
It's getting up to I-9 territory. Not quite as many. I think, what was it,
115?
115 on the I-9. So, but it's definitely got business. So I'm quite interested in it and I want to hear how it sounds. But here's some of the details. It is main aim to improve the drag, like I said, done by upgrading the sealing with new zero drag labyrinth seal, an improved ratchet and pull system, increased the points of engagement from 44 to 108, like I said, using an offset 6 pull free hub design, where free pulls are engaged at any time. I'm trying to work that in my head. I think I've just done it.
The pulls are offset, so there's always something engaged.
There's always something there. Does that technically double the amount of engagement?
I don't know if it doubles it because they're all slightly offset, but it means that 3 will always be engaged at any given time. It won't just be clicking round. So yeah, that's why the noise will change in the higher engagement.
Love it. So increased engagement without sacrificing reliability. Shell profile changed to increase stiffness without weight. Also takes bigger bearings. Also new to the lineup is a centre lock and e-bike specific hubs with strengthened free hub body.
Nice.
As always, fully serviceable and rebuildable, meaning changing the free hub body, axles, etc. Future-proofs your hubs. Available in 24, 28, 32 and 36 hole drillings. Hub price, rear $220, front £95. Full set wheel builds, $310 for a rear, $190 for a front. Big money, but I can't wait to hear the buzzness.
I know, right? And also, maybe you want to build these up with some new Reserve aluminium rims.
See what we've done there?
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah. It's not my first rodeo. So Reserve have released an aluminium version of their carbon rims, which are pretty popular. We've got the 30 HD and also the 30 SLAL. So basically the HD rims have 32 holes and weigh around about 580 grams for a 29er rim. And the SL will be a 28 hole, which takes it down to 500 grams. So we're looking at XC All Mountain for the SLs and Trail Enduro for the HDs. and they'll be built up on DT Swiss 350 hubs, lifetime warranty, and what everyone's talking about is this crash replacement, which means they will send out a replacement to you within 24 hours if you break a wheel. There's a lot covered under warranty, but even if you do something stupid like back over your bike when pulling out the driveway in your big truck, they will actually sort you out with a low-cost crash replacement. So yeah, that's one to watch.
Pretty good. Should we have a look at a tool?
Yes, let's. I have here the RTP1 from Park Tool, which is the rescued tool pod. Now,
love a tool.
Yeah, all of our Park Tool friends here will be familiar with the multi-tool here and probably their little puncture repair kit, but this is now being sold as a tool pod, which you can strap to your bike with all of the above centered on it. So you've got, I think it's a 17 function multi-tool there. And then this is my favorite bit, right? Whoa. Obviously, you've got the puncture repair plugs in your little unit here, but have you ever seen that on a puncture repair kit? No?
but I like it.
So when you stab it in, I don't know if you've ever pulled it before and taken one of the tubes out with it. This is basically you push that onto your little anchovies, if that's what you call them, and then you push it and you keep it in the tyre. That just keeps it in place. So yeah, now one whole unit to be strapped to multiple bikes.
Very good gizmo, and it feels, I tell you what, it feels really solid, which I really like actually. It feels like it's going to last. Yeah. I've got one of these Park Tools Allen key sets from about 1996, and I'm still using the same one. So they definitely last.
Nice. Wow. If you can keep hold of that, then yeah, it must be pretty robust. Okay, it's time for comments from you lovely people. And last week we were talking about internal cable routing and how now it's going through the head tube, and we were debating whether that's good or bad. No? Say no?
You know, I don't know.
It has its pros and its cons.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like it.
It's different difficulty. And from our viewers, we've got Joe Stars here who says, love seeing Blake on GMBN Tech Show. Need more of him.
And it says 14 likes. Right?
14.
If I could get 15 likes, all right? We could just get a comment
down
with 15
below.
Likes. I could dine off that with Blake for years. Oh, God, please, please. Another one here from Barry Enston, and he says, putting cables through the headset is a really stupid idea. You have to disconnect the brake hoses and gear cables to change the headset.
Well, some of them.
Some of them
you don't. You can just carry on as normal. But yeah, anyway, you'll have to watch last week's show. You want to know about that. But Paschetti Boy says, I built a lot of Scott bikes out of the box and serviced some. The headset cable routing is a pain in the to work on sometimes, but definitely isn't more difficult than regular internal cable routing. When done right, it looks super clean.
Yeah, pro advice there. Member Berries, like that name, says headset cable routing is about as stupid as single piece stems and bars. Oh dear. Not going to ever be on one of his bikes. What do you think about single stem and bars?
I've got them on my Canyon Exceed at the moment.
I
think it looks great, but if I want to change that stem length, I've got to get a whole new cockpit, which is a little bit upsetting.
Yeah, you said a little
bit. Dr. Nebin says, Trek has a great setup. All the cables go through the spacers and come out hidden underneath the stem. They also have a door on the down tube that opens up and you have huge access to the internal cables. Not hard work at all on that one. Yeah, that is a really good system. Yeah, similar to the Meridia as well.
I'm not sure what I think about doors in down tubes and little compartments for sandwiches.
You need to store your baguettes somewhere, surely.
Yeah, I'm not in. I don't know what I think about that. KJ Rakaza says internal cable routing is annoying. I just got a bike with it, and the entry points would make the cables rub against the head tube. It's really rattly too.
But this is an argument for internal routing through the headset, because then you don't have the cables rubbing around on the head tube. Doesn't that annoy you?
I don't know, but the rattling, Anna, the rattling.
The rattling, I know.
It's not progress.
Martyn, I've got some top mods for you.
Let's have a look.
Are you up for this? Right, our viewers have sent in some stuff. Check this out.
I love this.
Right, this is from Buzz in Derbyshire. He had a polished Privateer 161, and he said it never looked right with his GX cranks being black. So he's polished them out.
Love the detail.
And
love it.
Yeah, so he said he's used ordinary Brasso to polish them, and it actually left the GX logo there.
Yeah, it's
so
really cool.
he's managed
super
to get,
pro.
Yeah, managed to get a matchy look.
It's a lot of work, but the finish, I think it's worth it.
It is a lot of work. I like it though. And then over here we've got Vincent from the Philippines, who's used a -2 degree angle headset to update his bike geometry. So he's been running this for some time, at 2016 altitude. And yeah, now he's got a 64.6 degree head angle.
And it made a difference though. Look, as you look at the silhouette of the bike, that head angle does update it so much.
Yeah.
It's such a simple change. So that's a very good mod.
That's a very good mod, yeah. And it's shortened the reach for him as well, which he said he's preferring. It sort of fits him better. And then finally, over here, Rob from Camden in South Carolina, not in London, has got his Specialized Stump Jumper Pro fancied running mullet. So he's now Specialized released a little linkage so you can convert your 29 to mullet. He already had a 650B bike knocking around in the shed. So he's just bought the linkage and popped the bike, the other bike's wheel on the back, and now he's got a mullet.
I've never ridden mullet. Have you ridden mullet?
I love it. Yeah, I've got it on my Nukeproof Mega.
Yeah, I've not had any experience of that, so I don't know what to say about that. But it looks cool. Definitely looks good.
We did do a 29er versus mullet video, me and Doddy, and it's interesting. Go and check that out. Maybe I'll leave the link in the description below. I was faster, Doddy was slower. Believe it or not. Interesting.
That might just be his age. That might just be his age.
Go and watch it anyway.
Yeah, he's getting slower and slower.
Anyway, I think that's all we've got time for this week. It's nice to have you, though.
I've enjoyed being in Tech Show, and do you know what I've noticed? Because the Dirt Shed is a bit more skimming over the tops of the numbers, but you guys really get into the numbers, right? My mind's blown, but I'm impressed. I like it.
Nice numbers. Well, guys, don't forget to join the debate down below. What do you think about gearboxes, belt drives, and should it be in the World Cups? Let us know, comments below, and we'll see you again next week.